Captain Aidan Clark woke with a sharp jolt, his body aching, every muscle screaming from the impact. The sound of metal twisting and the smell of smoke filled his nose. For a moment, he could not remember where he was or what had happened. Then it all came back, the mission, the stars, the ship, and the sudden, blinding explosion that had ripped through the hull of the Odyssey. He tried to move, but pain shot through his left leg. Gritting his teeth, he pushed himself up. His helmet visor was cracked, but the sky above him was unlike anything he had ever seen. The sun was not yellow but a deep green, casting long, twisting shadows across the terrain. Giant crystalline trees glowed softly from within, their light pulsing like tiny heartbeats. Floating rocks drifted lazily in the air, defying gravity, reflecting the green light in shards that sparkled like diamonds. Aidan blinked, thinking he must be dreaming, but the pain in his shoulder reminded him that this was all very real. Stay calm, he muttered to himself, checking his suit systems. The oxygen levels were stable, and the life support system was working. But the navigation controls were completely fried, and the ship lay in pieces, half buried in the strange soil that seemed almost soft beneath his fingers. He took a deep breath, steadying himself. As he stood, he felt a strange sensation, almost like a whisper brushing across his mind. He froze. "Who's there?" he called, his voice hoarse. The sound of his own voice seemed loud in the quiet, untouched world around him. No answer came, only the soft hum of the glowing forest. Yet the feeling persisted. Gentle, insistent, almost like curiosity. He shook his head, thinking it was the wind, or maybe his imagination. Step by step, he started moving, surveying the wreckage. The ground was littered with broken panels, wires, and pieces of his ship. Strange plants with luminous tendrils leaned toward him, as if reaching out. He bent to touch one, and it recoiled quickly, snapping back like it had been shocked. He pulled back, startled, then laughed nervously. "All right, Aidan, you're definitely not on Earth anymore." As he walked, he noticed something strange in the distance. A shape, massive and upright, moving slowly through the trees. At first, he thought it was a tree swaying in the wind, but as it stepped forward, he realized it had form almost human but far taller, almost 4 meters in height, with skin that shimmered like liquid silver. Its eyes glowed softly, reflecting the light of the strange sun, and its gaze felt like it could see into his very thoughts. Aidan froze. Every instinct told him to run, but every part of him was also curious. He had trained for first contact scenarios, studied alien psychology, yet nothing in his training had prepared him for this. The figure stopped and tilted its head slightly, regarding him. Then, slowly, deliberately, it raised a hand in a gesture that seemed peaceful. "Hello?" Aidan called again. His voice sounded small and fragile. The figure didn't respond, but the sensation returned the whisper. Only this time it was clearer. A soft, musical sound that seemed to form words directly in his mind. "Stay. I need you." Aidan staggered backward. He rubbed his eyes, thinking he might be hallucinating, but the sensation lingered. It was not threatening. It was almost pleading. He didn't understand how it was possible, but he felt an overwhelming urge to listen. His human mind screamed at him to get away, to return to the safety of his ship. But every instinct that made him human, the curiosity, the empathy, the desire to understand, kept him rooted to the spot. The figure moved closer, and with each step, the environment seemed to shift subtly. The air hummed with energy. Plants leaned toward the figure, bending gently. The light of the trees pulsed in rhythm with the figure's steps. Aidan realized, with a mix of awe and fear, that this creature was not just alive, it was part of the living planet itself. He took a cautious step forward. I don't know if I can help you, he said. His voice was small, but it carried a note of sincerity. I'm just human. I don't even know who you are. The figure paused, and the whisper came again. You are human, and that makes you strong. The voice was unlike anything he had heard. It was both alien and familiar, a melody and a thought at the same time. Aiden felt a shiver run down his spine. He had read about alien telepathy in the academy, but experiencing it was something else entirely. This was not just communication, it was connection. He noticed now that the being's skin shimmered with patterns that seemed to pulse in sync with the whispers. Shapes that looked like constellations appeared and vanished, reflecting thoughts or emotions. And then Aiden understood. This creature, the alien queen, was curious about him, about humanity, about the way he thought, the way he felt. He swallowed hard, trying to regain control of his voice. Why? Why me? He asked aloud, though he knew the figure might hear him anyway. Because you can see, you can change, you can adapt, came the soft reply in his mind. We need your mind, your hands, your heart. Aiden's mind raced. He had been trained to survive in hostile environments, to make decisions under pressure. But this was different. This was a first contact not about fear or weapons. It was about understanding, about connection, about something larger than himself. He took another step forward, this time more deliberately. His eyes scanned the alien landscape. Strange creatures darted between the glowing trees, some small, insect-like with translucent wings, others larger, moving with surprising grace. Every movement was harmonious, purposeful, as if the planet itself was alive and orchestrating every action. All right, he said, speaking to the queen more than to himself. I don't know what you need, or why you need me, but I'll stay. For now. The queen's form seemed to relax, the pulsing light in its skin slowing, more rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. Aiden felt a sense of calm wash over him, and for the first time since the crash, he allowed himself to breathe fully. He realized that, somehow, staying was not just a choice. It was his only option. If he wanted to understand what had happened, what this planet was, and what this extraordinary being wanted from him, he started moving forward, following the queen into the forest. Each step revealed more wonders. Trees that whispered softly when touched, rivers of liquid light that glimmered as they flowed, and floating orbs that seemed to observe him, watching his every movement with curiosity. He felt like a child again, discovering the world for the first time, yet with the skills and knowledge of a trained explorer. As they walked, the queen extended a hand, and Aiden noticed the intricate patterns on its skin symbols, almost like writing, but moving, shifting constantly. Without thinking, he reached out and touched the hand. A warmth spread through him, and images flashed in his mind. The history of this species, their struggles, their beauty, and their fragility. He saw cities built of living structures, forests that sang, and creatures that communicated through light and thought. He staggered back slightly, overwhelmed by the influx of knowledge. The queen's whisper returned, softer this time. You can help us. You will help us. But first, you must understand. Aiden nodded, though she could not see him. I want to understand, he said. His voice was firm now, steadying himself. I need to know. And I'll stay. The alien queen tilted her head, and for the first time, Aiden felt something like approval radiating from her. The forest around them seemed to shimmer brighter, the air charged with energy. Birds, or something like birds, with translucent wings and glowing feathers, flew past, and for a moment, he could swear one of them looked directly at him and smiled. Night fell quickly on the planet, but it was unlike any night on Earth. The sky swirled with colors, green and violet clouds shifting slowly above them, reflecting the strange light of the twin moons. Aiden found a place to rest, a natural alcove formed by crystalline rocks. The queen remained nearby, a tall silhouette, glowing softly, watching over him. As he lay down, exhaustion pulling him into sleep, the whisper came one last time before he drifted off. Sleep, human. You will need your strength. Tomorrow, everything changes. And for the first time since the crash, Aiden felt hope. He did not know what this world held, or what the queen truly needed, but he felt the stirring of something incredible, something that went beyond survival, beyond exploration, something that might just redefine what it meant to be human. The morning light on the alien planet was unlike anything Aiden Clark had ever seen. The green sun cast soft, long shadows across the glowing forest, and the floating rocks shimmered like silver in the light. Birds or creatures like birds flew overhead, their translucent wings leaving trails of sparkling dust in the air. The planet was alive in every sense, and Aiden felt it with every heartbeat. He stretched carefully, wincing as the soreness in his shoulder reminded him of the crash. The queen was still there, standing tall and serene a few meters away, her form pulsing softly like a living beacon. He had watched her through the night, thinking about the whisper he had heard. Stay. I need you. He did not yet understand what that meant, but there was a certainty in it that he could not ignore. Taking a deep breath, he stood and approached her. I don't even know your name, he said, his voice echoing slightly in the alien silence. The queen tilted her head, and he realized that she might not communicate the way humans did. She did not speak aloud, yet the soft musical whispers returned, threading themselves into his thoughts. Names are different here. Call me Solara. Solara, Aiden repeated carefully. The name felt strange and beautiful on his tongue. All right, Solara. I want to understand what you need from me. The queen stepped closer, her movements graceful and deliberate. As she did, the forest seemed to react. The glowing trees bent slightly toward her, their light intensifying. Aiden blinked, realizing that the queen and the planet were somehow connected. She was not just a being on this world, she was a part of it. We need your help, Solara whispered, her voice filling his mind with calm authority. Our world is changing. Our people cannot survive outside this land, and the balance we rely on is breaking. You, humans, are different. You think, you adapt, you create. That is why I need you. Aiden felt a mixture of awe and fear. He had expected first contact to be about diplomacy, maybe fear or caution, but not this, an alien queen openly expressing dependence on a human. I don't know if I can help, he said honestly. I'm just a man. I'm not some miracle worker, but I can try. The queen's eyes, glowing like molten silver, seemed to study him carefully. Then, she extended a hand. Aiden hesitated, but curiosity and trust pushed him forward. The moment he touched her hand, warmth spread through him, almost like electricity running gently under his skin. The forest reacted immediately. Glowing vines shifted toward them, and the floating rocks hovered closer, as if observing the connection. Images flooded his mind suddenly. Cities of living structures, towering spires that shimmered with energy, and creatures moving in harmony with the land. He saw forests that whispered in unison, rivers that flowed with colors and light instead of water. The visions were overwhelming, but he understood one thing clearly. Solara's species was extraordinary and fragile at the same time. Our people are dying, she whispered, softer this time, almost like a sigh. Aiden nodded, swallowing hard. I will try, he said. Tell me what I need to do. Tell me. Tell me, tell me, tell me what I need to do." Solara did not speak aloud. Instead, she led him deeper into the forest. As they walked, Aiden noticed the ecosystem responding to their presence. Plants bent gently, revealing hidden pathways. Tiny creatures peeked from behind glowing trees, watching him with curiosity, but never threatening. He realized that the planet itself was alive. Intelligent, in a way humans had only begun to imagine. Finally, they reached a clearing, where the Queen's city lay. At first, it seemed like a forest. But as he approached, he realized it was made of living structures. Towers that grew like trees. Walls that shimmered and shifted. Floors that pulsed with energy as if the entire city had a heartbeat. The air was thick with a faint hum, almost musical, and Aiden realized it was the city itself communicating, responding to Solara's presence. He was in awe. "It's alive," he whispered. "Yes," Solara replied in his mind, "and it is fragile. We have grown dependent on this land, but something is changing. The balance is breaking. We need your creativity, your mind, your hands, to help us survive." Aiden followed her into the city, careful not to touch the walls too roughly. The surfaces shifted under his fingertips, responding to his presence. He watched alien figures moving through the city, tall, slender beings with translucent skin, glowing patterns like Solara's. They observed him curiously but did not approach. He sensed that they were intelligent, but their way of thinking was different. Where humans reacted to challenges with improvisation, these beings relied on instinct and harmony with their environment. "You are brave," Solara whispered, and Aiden felt a warmth of reassurance. "And you are curious. That is why we need you." As they moved further into the city, Solara showed him a central chamber where intricate machinery hummed with energy. It was unlike anything Aiden had ever seen. Parts moved on their own, connecting in patterns that made sense to the alien mind, but seemed chaotic to him. Yet somehow, the energy of the system felt familiar, like the pulse of a living being. "We cannot control it fully," Solara explained in his mind. "Our people can maintain balance, but when something goes wrong, we cannot adapt fast enough. You, humans, can adapt." Aiden knelt beside one of the machines, studying its structure. "I think I can help," he said aloud, more confident now. He started moving pieces carefully, testing their responses. The alien patterns shifted in response, glowing brighter when he succeeded and dimming when he erred. Solara watched silently, but he felt her approval in the gentle warmth that spread through his mind. Hours passed, though time seemed different in this city. Aiden experimented, learning how the systems responded to change. Slowly, he realized that even small adjustments, things that would seem minor to him, could stabilize entire sections of the city. He smiled, feeling a rush of pride and purpose. For the first time since the crash, he felt like he belonged somewhere, even if it was an alien world. As evening approached, the forest outside shimmered in twilight. The green sun dipped lower, casting long, twisting shadows across the glowing city. Aiden sat beside Solara, exhausted, but exhilarated. She remained near him, her form glowing softly, and he felt a strange but comforting connection. "You are different," she whispered. "You think beyond instinct. You create. You solve. You adapt. That is why I needed you." Aiden looked at her, unsure how to respond. I don't know if I can do everything you need," he admitted. "But I'll try. I have to try." "That is enough," Solara said. "For now, it is enough." As night fell, Aiden realized the stars above were not like those on Earth. They shimmered in patterns, forming constellations he could not name. But somehow, he felt at peace. He had survived the crash. He had encountered an alien queen unlike anything he had imagined. And for the first time, he understood that humanity's strength lay not in weapons or technology alone, but in curiosity, creativity, and the courage to face the unknown. He fell asleep that night on the glowing floor of the alien city. Solara's presence nearby, her whispers fading into dreams. Tomorrow, you will learn more, and the world will begin to change because of you. Aiden woke to the soft glow of the alien city, feeling the gentle warmth of Solara's presence nearby. Though he had slept on the hard, crystalline floor, his mind felt sharper than it had in days. The whisper he had heard the night before lingered in his thoughts. You can help us. You will help us. Rising carefully, he stretched his sore muscles and looked around. The city was alive, with activity, though in a way completely different from any human city he had ever seen. Beings moved gracefully along pathways of light, their skin shimmering with colors that shifted like the surface of a river. Structures leaned and swayed gently, almost like they were breathing, and the air vibrated with a soft, harmonious hum. Every movement and sound felt purposeful. Solara approached him, her glowing form taller and more elegant in the morning light. Come, she whispered, her words threading into his mind like a melody. There is much to show you. You must understand. Aiden followed her through the city, noticing how the alien beings reacted to him. At first, many had stopped to observe, their eyes wide with curiosity. But as he moved carefully and respectfully, they returned to their work, almost as if acknowledging him as part of their world. He marveled at their coordination and the beauty of their environment, yet he sensed a fragility underlying everything. Our world is failing, Solara said, her voice soft but steady in his mind. Our species has grown dependent on this land. We cannot leave. We cannot adapt the way you humans can. We need you because you think differently. Aiden listened, trying to absorb every detail. He had encountered countless alien worlds in simulations and reports, but nothing prepared him for this. The Queen's species had mastered harmony and balance, yet their perfection had left them unable to improvise. Humans, with their curiosity, ingenuity, and adaptability, were exactly what they lacked. They entered a large chamber, the heart of the city, where delicate structures pulsed with energy. Aiden saw machinery unlike anything he had seen before, flowing circuits of light, shifting panels, and interconnected structures that seemed to react to thought rather than touch. This is the center of our life, Solara explained. It maintains the city, our people, the balance of our world. But it is unstable. When external forces strike, we cannot respond fast enough. You can. Aiden knelt beside the pulsing structure, examining the intricate patterns. The energy flowed in ways that seemed impossible. Yet he noticed subtle rules, patterns repeating in ways his mind could begin to understand. He reached out carefully, adjusting a glowing panel, and felt a rush of satisfaction as the energy stabilized slightly. Solara watched silently, though he sensed approval in the soft warmth spreading through his thoughts. You see the patterns. You understand. You are human. And that makes you strong. For hours, he worked under her guidance, experimenting with the machinery, learning its rhythms and limitations. Slowly, he discovered that even small, human-inspired adjustments, simple ideas of leverage, redirection, and adaptation could restore stability to sections of the city. Every success filled him with pride, and every minor failure taught him more. Your people's strength is your mind, Solara said. Your curiosity, your creativity, your persistence. These are rare in the universe. You do not give up when faced with the unknown. That is why I need you. Aiden paused, wiping sweat from his brow. I don't know if I'm enough, he admitted. I'm just one person. How can I save a whole species? One mind can change the world, she whispered. With guidance, courage, and determination. Humans can accomplish what others cannot. You are already helping. Her words resonated deeply. He realized that this was not about brute force or technology alone. It was about thinking differently, imagining solutions where others saw impossibility, and acting with courage and patience. Humans had built empires from nothing, solved problems that seemed unsolvable, and survived in environments far harsher than this. And now, that same ingenuity was what Solara's species needed. He began to notice other ways he could help. Observing the alien workers, he saw that they relied on patterns and repetition, rarely improvising. He began teaching small lessons. How to redirect energy flow when a panel overloaded, how to stabilize a structure when it wavered unexpectedly, and how to anticipate changes rather than simply reacting. The aliens watched him closely, mimicking his movements and absorbing his ideas. "You teach differently than we do," Solara said. "Your methods are unorthodox but effective. That is why I trust you." By midday, Aiden had already made adjustments that stabilized nearly half the city's energy flow. He took a moment to breathe, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders, but also a thrill he had never known. For the first time in his life, he understood that human creativity was not just a tool, it was a bridge, a force that could connect worlds and save lives. Solara guided him to another chamber, this one darker and quieter. The walls shimmered with faint lines of energy, and he noticed cracks in the floor where the balance of the city had begun to fail. "This is the most fragile part," she whispered. "Our people depend on it. If it collapses, much will be lost." Aiden studied the cracks carefully. Unlike the main chamber, these areas were unpredictable. The energy flowed erratically, shifting with the environment, and responding poorly to Solara's usual methods. He realized that this was where human ingenuity mattered most. He crouched, examining the patterns. I think I can redirect the energy using a combination of your structure and a new path I create," he said aloud, more confident now. "It's untested, but it might work." Solara's glow pulsed softly. "Try. That is why you are here." Working carefully, Aiden moved pieces of the structure, redirecting energy flows, reinforcing weak points, and improvising solutions that no alien had attempted before. The machinery responded slowly at first, then more strongly as his ideas took hold. He felt the patterns adjust beneath his hands, stabilizing and pulsing in harmony. Finally, after hours of careful work, the energy flowed evenly again. The cracks in the floor seemed to heal. As the system adapted to his adjustments, he stepped back, breathing heavily, and looked at Solara. Her eyes shimmered, brighter than ever, radiating approval and relief. "You have done more than I hoped," she whispered. "You see possibilities we cannot. You change outcomes we thought fixed. That is why I needed you." Aiden smiled faintly, a mixture of pride and humility. I didn't do it alone," he said. "You guided me, showed me the way. I just thought differently." "That is enough," she replied. "Thinking differently is your strength. And that is what saves lives." As the day wore on, he continued to explore the city, learning its rhythms, observing the alien workers, and making small improvements. He taught them how to anticipate changes, how to adjust energy flows in real time, and how to experiment safely. Slowly, he saw results. The city moved more efficiently, the energy pulsed steadily, and the workers began to adapt his methods themselves. "Your people's strength is courage," Solara whispered. "Your willingness to try, to risk failure, and to imagine solutions. This is why humans thrive." Aiden realized the truth in her words. Humans had survived on Earth through ingenuity and courage, building civilizations from scratch, exploring unknown lands, and adapting to harsh environments. On this alien world, those same qualities were making a tangible difference, helping a species that had never needed to improvise before. As evening approached, Aiden rested in a quiet chamber, letting the city hum around him. Solara remained nearby, her presence reassuring and protective. "You are more than a visitor," she whispered. "You are a part of this world now. You are human, and that is why we survive." Aiden closed his eyes, feeling a deep sense of purpose. He did not yet know the full extent of the challenges ahead, but he understood one thing clearly. Humans were capable of extraordinary things, not because of strength or speed, but because of their minds, their creativity, and their courage. And on this world, that human strength was making a real difference. That night, as the alien city glowed softly under the light of the green sun, Aiden slept with a sense of hope. He had survived the crash. He had encountered an alien species in need, and he had begun to understand why humans, his people, were special. "Tomorrow," Solara whispered, her voice weaving into his dreams, "we will face new challenges, and tomorrow, your human strength will shine even brighter." The morning air on the alien planet felt heavier than usual. The green sunlight filtered through the crystal-like trees, casting long shadows. But the usual harmony of the forest seemed off. The soft hum of the city was uneven, and the glowing patterns of energy in the structures flickered like a heartbeat, struggling to keep rhythm. Aiden Clark woke with an uneasy feeling in his chest. He had grown accustomed to the pulse of the city, to the quiet whispers of Solara, and to the calm yet purposeful movements of the alien workers. But today, something was wrong. Solara appeared almost immediately, her glowing form moving toward him with urgency. "We have a problem," she whispered in his mind. "The balance of our city is threatened. A storm comes, unlike anything before." Aiden felt a chill run through him. "A storm?" he asked aloud. "What kind of storm?" "Plasma surges from the upper atmosphere, magnetic fluctuations. The storm will disrupt our energy flows, destabilize the city, and endanger our people," Solara replied. Her voice carried worry, something Aiden had never expected from the Queen, an alien being of immense power and wisdom, showing fear. He stood quickly, adrenaline sharpening his senses. "Show me," he said. Solara led him to the edge of the city, where the floating rocks and glowing trees opened into a wide valley. In the distance, clouds of green and violet energy swirled violently, spinning faster than anything natural. Lightning-like currents shot across the sky, striking the distant terrain with blinding light. "This is dangerous," Aiden muttered, taking a careful step back. He had seen storms in space, even violent solar flares, but nothing like this. The energy of the storm was alive, unpredictable, and it was moving directly toward the city. "Yes," Solara whispered. "We cannot stop it alone. We cannot adapt fast enough. That is why I need you." Aiden swallowed hard. "All right. We need a plan. We need to protect the city before it's too late." The Queen guided him to the central chamber, where the pulsing energy of the city reacted immediately to their arrival. Panels shimmered faster, lights flickered, and the city itself seemed to quiver in anticipation. The alien workers moved quickly, trying to reinforce structures. But their movements were patterned, limited by instinct. They could not improvise under the storm's sudden threat. Aiden's mind raced. He scanned the room, noting where energy flows could be redirected, where structural weaknesses might fail first, and where temporary defenses could be built. "Listen to me," he called to the workers. "We need to move energy away from weak points, reinforce the support structures, and stabilize the flow. Follow my instructions." "Exactly. Trust me." The aliens hesitated at first, but Solara's presence reassured them. They obeyed, their movements precise but clumsy, when improvisation was needed. Aiden guided them, combining their natural harmony with human problem-solving. He moved panels, redirected energy currents, and applied makeshift solutions where the city's systems were failing. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes. The storm approached faster than anyone anticipated. Outside, lightning-like plasma arcs struck the city's outskirts, and a hum of warning vibrations echoed through the ground. The glowing structures trembled, and Aiden realized that if the energy flows failed even slightly, large sections of the city could collapse. "We are losing stability," Solara whispered, panic threading her usual calm. "You must act quickly." Aiden's heart pounded, but he focused. He remembered techniques humans had used in extreme situations: engineering improvisations, rapid problem-solving, thinking beyond expected patterns. He applied them here, redirecting energy flows in ways the aliens would never consider. By combining alien systems with human creativity, he stabilized a critical energy loop, saving an entire sector of the city from collapse. The alien workers watched him with awe. For the first time, they realized that humans could adapt, improvise, and act under pressure in ways their instinct-driven minds could not. Solara's glow pulsed brighter as she sensed Aiden's courage and determination. "You are extraordinary," she whispered. "Your human strength, it is saving us." But the storm was relentless. Plasma arcs struck closer, and parts of the city began to quiver dangerously. Aiden realized that stabilization alone was not enough. He needed a long-term solution, something that could absorb the storm's energy without destroying the city. His mind raced, pulling from every piece of human knowledge he had ever learned. Energy grids, force distribution, pressure redirection, and emergency reinforcement strategies. He instructed the aliens to form barriers using living structures, bending flexible energy channels toward weak points, and layering them to absorb shock. "Use the natural flow of energy," he told them. "Don't fight it, redirect it. Work with the city, not against it." Slowly, the structures began to respond. Energy flowed around the barriers instead of through them, and the tremors lessened. The city shivered like a living being, adjusting to a threat, but it held. Aiden's pulse raced, sweat pouring down his face, but he could see the signs of success. Outside, the storm raged, and lightning arcs struck nearby. But the city's defenses held. Panels pulsed with steady light, energy flows redirected as intended, and the alien workers followed Aiden's instructions without hesitation. Solara moved beside him, her glow brighter than ever. "You have done more than we could imagine," she whispered. "You see possibilities we cannot. Your courage, your ingenuity, it saves lives." Aiden allowed himself a brief smile, but he knew the storm was not yet over. The energy still fluctuated, and large surges threatened weaker sectors. He ran from chamber to chamber, coordinating the workers, making quick decisions, and improvising solutions as problems arose. He felt the thrill of human ingenuity at its peak, the ability to act, to adapt, and to overcome impossible odds. Hours passed, and the storm began to weaken as it approached the city's outer limits. The energy flows, stabilized by Aiden's guidance, absorbed the worst of the plasma arcs. The city's structures no longer trembled, and the alien workers began to relax, though their eyes still held awe and respect for the human who had saved them. "You have done what we could not," Solara whispered. "You have saved many lives today. Your human strength, it is extraordinary." Aiden stood in the central chamber, breathing heavily, looking around at the city he had helped protect. He felt exhaustion deep in his bones, but also a profound sense of accomplishment. The alien queen's words resonated in his mind. Humans can adapt. Humans can create. Humans can save worlds. He realized that this was what made humanity remarkable. Not raw power, not technology alone, but courage, creativity, and the ability to act under pressure. And here, on this alien world, those qualities had made the difference between life and destruction. As the storm finally passed, Aiden walked outside with Solara. The green sunlight now shone through the dissipating clouds, casting sparkling reflections on the forest and city. Birds or creatures like birds flew overhead, their wings catching the light. The city pulsed gently, as if breathing a sigh of relief. Solara looked at him, her glowing form radiating warmth. "You are human," she whispered, "and that is why we survive." Aiden nodded, feeling a mixture of humility and pride. "We survive together," he said. "I just did what humans do. We adapt. We keep going." "Yes," she replied, "and that is why we needed you. Your mind, your courage, your creativity. It is a gift to this world." As evening approached, the city's lights pulsed softly, reflecting the calm after the storm. Aiden sat with Solara in a quiet chamber, exhausted but exhilarated. He had faced the impossible, improvised solutions, and saved a civilization from disaster. And in doing so, he understood something profound. Humanity's strength was not measured by force, but by thought, courage, and the willingness to act when others could not. That night, as the green sun dipped behind the horizon, Aiden lay down, Solara near him. The city hummed around them, alive and stable once more. He closed his eyes, feeling the soft whispers in his mind. Tomorrow, there will be new challenges. And tomorrow, your human strength will shine again. For the first time since the crash, he felt certain of one thing. He belonged here, and humanity's greatest gifts, curiosity, creativity, and courage had found their purpose on this extraordinary world. The morning after the storm, Aiden Clark walked through the alien city, feeling a sense of calm he had never known before. The glowing structures pulsed evenly, and the alien workers moved with confidence, their actions smooth and coordinated. The city was alive, thriving, and, most importantly, stable. He reflected on the past days, the crash, the first encounter with Solara, and the crisis he had helped avert. He had seen firsthand the fragility of this civilization, but he had also seen its beauty, intelligence, and potential. And he had realized something profound. Humanity's strength lay in creativity, courage, and adaptability. On this world, those qualities had become a lifeline. Solara appeared beside him, her glowing form radiating warmth. "You have done more than you know," she whispered in his mind. "The city thrives because of you. The people respect you. You are more than a visitor. You are part of this world now." Aiden nodded. "I didn't do it alone," he said. "Your people, your city, they guided me. I just applied what humans do best." "That is enough," Solara replied. "What humans do best. It is extraordinary. You think beyond instinct. You adapt. You create. That is why we survive." He looked around at the alien workers moving efficiently through the city. Many paused to acknowledge him with subtle gestures, bows, glances, and the soft pulsing of light across their bodies. It was a silent form of respect, but Aiden felt its full meaning. Humans were often underestimated by others in the universe. But here, on this world, his species' uniqueness had made a real difference. Over the next several days, Aiden worked closely with Solara and her people to strengthen the city further. He taught them techniques to anticipate problems, to create energy buffers, and to respond quickly when unexpected events occurred. Slowly, the aliens began to combine their natural harmony with human-inspired problem-solving, a blend that improved efficiency and stability beyond anything they had achieved before. "You have given us more than survival," Solara whispered one morning. "You have given us progress." Aiden smiled faintly, brushing sweat from his brow after another long day of work. "We're learning from each other," he said. "You taught me about balance, about seeing the world as alive. I'm teaching you how to adapt. Together, we can make this world stronger." "Yes," she replied. It was during one of these work sessions that Aiden realized the depth of the bond forming between himself and Solara. It was not romance in the human sense, but a profound partnership built on trust, respect, and shared purpose. He had seen the Queen at her most vulnerable, in moments of fear, hope, and determination. She had seen him at his best, improvising, leading, and risking everything for her people. They depended on each other, and neither could deny the strength of that connection. One afternoon, while walking through the central chamber, Aiden paused to study the glowing patterns of energy flowing across the city. The hum of the structures resonated with him, almost like a heartbeat. Solara moved beside him, her form pulsing gently. "Do you ever miss your world, human?" she asked, her voice threading softly through his thoughts. Aiden considered the question. "Sometimes," he admitted, "but I've realized that humans are not tied to one place. We survive, we adapt, we build. And here, I've found a purpose I didn't know I could have. Your people's courage, their creativity. It is rare in the universe," Solara whispered. "And now, you have shared it with us. You have made us stronger." Aiden felt a swell of pride, but also humility. He was just one human, yet his species' qualities had made a difference to an entire civilization. That realization filled him with hope that humanity could reach further, help others, and make the universe a better place. Days turned into weeks, and the bond between humans and Solara's species deepened. The alien workers incorporated Aiden's teachings into their routines, creating hybrid systems of efficiency and adaptability. Energy flows became more resilient, structures more stable, and the city itself seemed to glow brighter as it embraced this new knowledge. One evening, as the green sun dipped toward the horizon, casting long shadows over the city, Solara approached Aiden with a gentle glow. "There is something you must decide," she whispered. "Your ship is repaired. You can leave. The choice is yours." Aiden felt a pang of emotion. The thought of returning to Earth was tempting. His family, his world, the life he had known. But he looked at the city, at the people he had helped, and at Solara, who had trusted him with so much. He realized that staying here was not just a duty, it was a choice, an opportunity to continue proving the strength and value of humanity. I can leave," he said slowly. "But I've realized something. Humans are capable of more than survival. We adapt. We create. And here, I can help a civilization thrive. I want to stay." Solara's glow pulsed brighter, a light of approval and relief. "Then, stay, human. Stay, and continue to teach, to guide, to protect. You are human, and that is why we are strong together." Aiden smiled, feeling a profound sense of belonging. He was no longer just an explorer, no longer merely a visitor. He was a partner, a bridge between two worlds, and a living example of humanity's strength. Over the following months, Aiden worked tirelessly alongside Solara and the alien population. Together, they implemented new systems that combined human ingenuity with alien harmony. Energy flows became self-correcting. Structures adapted to environmental changes, and the city began to expand in ways previously unimaginable. The aliens looked at humans differently now. They saw courage, creativity, and adaptability not as mere survival traits, but as a form of intelligence and strength. Aiden realized that humans could inspire, teach, and lead without domination. Their value was in thought, empathy, and action. One morning, as Aiden and Solara watched the city pulse with life, she whispered, "You have changed us, not with power, but with your mind, your courage, your heart. Humans, you make us whole." Aiden nodded, feeling the weight and joy of responsibility. "We did this together," he said. "Humanity didn't do it alone. And neither did you. But together, we're unstoppable." For the first time in his life, he understood what it truly meant to be human. It was not about conquest, wealth, or power. It was about courage, curiosity, creativity, and the ability to connect with others. On this alien world, humanity's greatest strengths had become the key to survival, progress, and harmony. As night fell, the city glowed softly under the green sun, twin moons reflecting light across the crystalline forest. Aiden sat beside Solara, feeling the quiet hum of the city resonate through him. He had found purpose, partnership, and proof that humans could change the universe not with force, but with thought, courage, and heart. "Tomorrow will bring new challenges," Solara whispered, her voice gentle yet filled with certainty. "But together, human, we will face them. Your strength, your mind, your courage, it is part of our world now." Aiden looked up at the glowing structures, the floating rocks, and the living forest surrounding the city. He felt a deep connection, not just to Solara, but to this world and the people who now relied on him. Yes, he thought, humanity can make a difference. And here, I will continue to prove it. As he drifted to sleep, the final whisper echoed in his mind. "Stay." Aiden smiled, knowing he had found not only a new home, but a chance to show the universe the extraordinary strength of humanity.